All right. We are live. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. It is Monday here at the Make the Grade office, and it's an exciting time. It's a really exciting time. There's a lot going on, and I want to just address some of them because partly I've been getting people asking me about it, and frankly, it's easier to do it in this forum, publicly, mass appeal than it is to try to answer everyone individually. But that aside, here's what I want to get into. Number one, the Make the Grade Success community is live. It is completely functional. It is there to help students to achieve their maximum educational goals. Okay? And is there to help parents to help the students. If you're interested in learning about this, go to the site right below me, makethegrade.net. Click on the Success Community, the Facebook Success Community, or just send me a comment. Okay? So we can do that. Secondly, in the podcast, the Make the Grade podcast, which is basically at the website, but specifically there with the podcast hash, whatever that is. I've been the last couple weeks doing a series based on the book, based on Maximum Education, and talking about case studies of students who have come to me with issues, time management issues, information management issues, a number of issues that they've had that have gotten in the way of them working to their potential, achieving good grades, getting high test scores, so on and so on. In some cases, not getting into colleges that they wanted to. So in the book, there are 12 case studies. So one of the things I've been doing is highlighting them and expanding on them, because in the book, there's only so much you can do. And in each podcast, I've talked about not only what the case study was specifically, but also how we approached it. And the point is so that parents and children and students can take advantage of these techniques. Everything here is accessible. Everything here is something that, frankly, anyone can do if they just have a system, if they have a plan, and if they go to work consistently. Consistently. I'm going to consistently say consistently because it's important to be consistent. So let me just talk about one, okay? And like I said, this is right out of the book. And if you don't have a copy of the book, I would encourage you to get one. Of course, they're available on Amazon. Just search Maximum Education. You can also get them on the site. But anyway, the first case study was with a student called Dan. And that's actually his real name. This is about 3 years old. He's probably about a junior in college now. So if you're listening, hello, Dan. Well done. And here was the idea. When I worked with him, Dan was a sophomore in high school. Typical college prep track. A couple honors classes. Intent was to take AP classes his junior year. Was in sports, couple clubs. Time jammed up on time, but well intended in terms of his goals. Okay, so he came to me, and this is basically what he said. This is a direct quote. I get what's going on in class, but I never feel like I'm ever caught up with all the work. Just when I get to that point of being caught up, there's more work. And I feel like I fall behind all over again. End of quote. Well, listen, that's how school goes, right? Just happens that way. You don't stop and wait for school to catch up to you. So the first thing I said was, Dan, tell me what you're doing. What is your system? Knowing you probably didn't have one, but his system was he would look in his planner book and look at what was there. And I said, well, is all your homework always in your planner? No, it wasn't. Most of the time it was. Sometimes it wasn't. So what we did right away was implement a system to keep track of homework. And if you follow anything I do, any of the Maximum Education guidelines, you know this is a major piece. Okay? So he had a system. He would write everything down every day, and there was accountability. I checked this. His parents checked it. In some cases, his guidance counselor checked it. Okay. Every subject, math, science, Spanish, history, English, so on and so on. Second thing we looked at was his time commitment. He was spending 2.5 hours on homework, which seemed to me to be a little excessive given the load I saw he needed to do. The problem was, as you can guess, he was not working efficiently. He was spending a lot of time not getting a lot done. Even when he did get things done, it wasn't often complete and it wasn't coordinated. So here's what we did. Here was the solution. Number one, we got a page that he wrote everything on, and that was it. Every day we printed a new page, rolled it out, put it into a notebook, kept it for records. 2 things happened on that page. List of present homework, list of future homework. Then we organized, all right? This was part of his maximum education system. So, and big thing, big action item is that he never moved on to anything else until what he started was done. So if he was working on math, he finished the math. What happened was, and there's a lot more detail I can get into, but let's just say he got a system, we tweaked it, we massaged it, put it into place, and within 3 weeks, here's the results, okay? He was spending an hour less every day. Went from 2.5 hours to an hour and a half, 90 minutes. He did not miss one homework assignment in that 3-week period. His grades in that stretch were 100% A's. 100%. Now, that didn't mean his report card grades were all A's because he had some ground to make up. They did get to that point the next marking period when he started with a clean slate. So he was spending less time, getting better grades, getting less energy spent on all of this, processing it more easily, and most importantly, getting maximum results. This was his quote a month later. Now that I have a system, I feel like I'm in control of the situation. Since I am always up to date, the subjects don't seem as challenging either, and I am not falling behind. In fact, they seem to be getting easier because I really understand what's going on. End of quote. Thank you, Dan. So you see, this is a really typical case from the book, and hundreds of these case studies that I can talk about and work on. And I don't do this as a self-aggrandizing mechanism. I do it to show anyone who is not where they want to be that it's not a big deal to get there if you get a system, you work the system, you follow the system consistently, and you plug in. This is what the theme of the podcast is. This is absolutely what the theme of the community is. I would really encourage you, if you aren't plugged into them already, to check them out. So I'm going to keep plugging in. Like I said, there's 12 case studies in here. I have about 50 more of them that are written up in various places and different styles of communication. So any suggestions, questions, comments, always welcome. Got a comment? Sounds familiar. Sounds just like my child. What do I do? Well, what you do is, like I've been saying for the last 9 minutes, get a system. System doesn't have to be identical to the one I spoke about with Dan, but the fundamentals of it should be, okay? The core competencies should be. I can help you with this. This is what I do day in, day out, all day, every day. So get a system. That's the key. But like everything else, part of the solution is identifying that you have an issue. Part of the problem is understanding there's something you need to correct. And that's where it goes. So let me close this out by kind of replugging the podcast. As you can see below me, there's a link to the podcast. This is the website in general. So if you go to the website, you'll see the podcast. You'll also see a link to the community, which I would really encourage people to get involved in. It's helping a lot of people and will continue to. One more quick question. How do you get started? Good question. Easiest way is to communicate directly with me. Not only am I the tutor, I am also the bookkeeper and the receptionist and the scheduling appointment person. So really it's a matter of just figuring out where we are. But I do have forms. I do have surveys that people can complete. In fact, there is one, I believe. I hope I flashed the right one up. To be honest with you, I have about 10 surveys, and I think that's the right one. But what I would say is go to my Facebook system at Make the Grade or at Stephen Green or at Maximum Education. Seek me out, message me, and we can start from there. This is a very hands-on, direct process. So that's it. I'm gonna keep it about on time today. I like to do 10, 12 minutes at the most. Everybody's busy. Appreciate everybody out there who is listening and paying attention. I'm going to try to check back in tomorrow or Wednesday with another Make the Grade Maximum Education case study. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. It's beautiful weather here where I am today. Enjoy and to your success. Thank you.